Welcome to another FireCapture tutorial. This is a special one as I'm trying to explain the plugin interface of FireCapture. So this is mainly for users with programming skills who want to create their own pre-processing filters in FireCapture. When I'm talking about pre-processing filters, I mean the options that are available in the pre-processing panel over here, though there were already a couple of filters available. And the plugin interface allows you to create your own pre-processing filter, which will be plugged into this menu over here. Okay, I try to give you a step-by-step description of how to create your first plugin. As you may know, FireCapture is implemented in Java, so the very first step would be installing Java. You can just Google and go to the Oracle homepage, and there is Java downloads. It doesn't really matter which version you use. I would recommend using the latest Java development kit. If I would recommend using the same version as your FireCapture installation. So if you're running a FireCapture 64-bit, I would install Java 64-bit as well. I'm not showing the installation as this is straightforward. Second step would be installing an IDE, an integrated development environment. In theory, you don't need this, as you could compile and pack your Java files also using the Java compiler that comes with your Java installation. But using an IDE is strongly recommended, as it makes coding and deployment much easier. There are a number of different Java IDEs available. Personally, I prefer Eclipse. So this is a version that there are. If you just can Google of Eclipse IDE, and there are a couple of versions available on the Eclipse download site. As a planetary imager, I prefer the version with codename Mars. And you can just download it. It takes some time as it's a big file. After installation, it creates a folder Eclipse where all the stuff is in. And okay, I just try to start now with the step-by-step description how to create your first plugin. So just click on the Start Eclipse. The very first time it asks you for the project folder. This is a place where it puts all your project files in. You can just use the default one it recommends. Okay. After it started, don't be too impressed by all the buttons and menus over here. Most of the stuff you won't need for our first plugin. So I will start now with an example, giving you an impression how you would need to create the plugin. The very first step would be creating a project. So in the Package Explorer here, we right-click and New and say Java Project. Give it a name. Just say FireCapture plugin. Okay, leave all the other settings as default, and go to Next. So now it comes an important part. We need to add the FireCapture plugin source. There's the plugin interface jar as reference library. So go into Libraries and click Add External jar. And then you go into your FireCapture installation, into the plugin subfolder. There is a jar file called plugin and the version of the plugin. Just click on that and add it as dependent library and just click Finish. So now we have created our FireCapture plugin project with some reference libraries and with an empty source folder. Okay, next step would be adding a package where we will place our plugin classes. And again, click on Source and say New Package. Just give the package a name. Really doesn't matter which one. Let's try Better Seeing, please. that's what we need here. Click on finish. Okay, now it has created a package with the name, and in this package we will place our plugin class. Okay, the package again, right click, the new class, and give your plugin class a name. Let's say my plugin. And as interface, we need to add the related iFilter interface from the FireCapture plugin interface. Just click on that interfaces add and search for a class named iFilter. It suggests you some filters, and this is the correct one. It's the iFilter from the plugin jar we just added from the FireCapture installation. So this is the interface which defines all the methods you need to implement in order to make your plugin work. Click on OK, and then you say finished. Okay, so it created the plugin filter class, and with all the methods you need to implement, and Eclipse automatically created the method stubs for all the methods. Okay, you see there are a number of methods that needs to be implemented, but you don't need all of them in order to make your plugin working. I'm just trying to explain now here step by step what methods you need to fill, and so let's start with the most important one, which is the interface version. If you go to the interface class, you can do this by press Control and click on that class. It opens it in a new editor, and there is an interface version. Over here, it's just a string, and this defines the version number of the plugin FireCapture is working on. So when FireCapture tries to load the plugins, it just checks if the plugin version you provided matches the current version FireCapture uses. So it's important to support to add the same interface version in your plugin. Otherwise, FireCapture won't load your plugin. Okay, so the very first step was filling the get interface version method with the related version number, which is 1.0. Okay. Second step would be giving your plugin class a name. This is the method get name. This is what this label, the string that will be displayed in the FireCapture preprocessing panel. So let's just say my first plugin. Okay, you can also give it a description that is displayed as tooltip in FireCapture. Okay. The next important version you need to fill is there are two methods: support mono, support color. These methods define on which type of cameras your plugin class will work, and it's necessary to implement at least one of these. Otherwise, FireCapture won't load your plugin as well. So I'm support mono here, and leave the other methods untouched. So this is these are the methods you really need in order to get your plugin loaded into FireCapture. Let's try this just to check if this is correct, that FireCapture will recognize our plugin. So in order to install your plugin, you need to pack your plugin Java class. You need to compile it into a Java class file, and you need to pack it into a jar file, and this jar file needs to be added into the plugin subfolder in FireCapture. I'm trying to let's have a look at the plugin subfolder again, the structure. So if you open your FireCapture installation, go into plugins, and there is a structure in the plugin folder. There are two subfolders depending on the version, on the FireCapture version. There's a x64 and x86 subfolder. And depending on your FireCapture installation, you need to add your plugin. You need to create a subfolder into the related version, into the related folder over here. So if we have a FireCapture x64, if you have FireCapture 64-bit installation, you would need to go to x64 and create a subfolder over here. Let's say the name doesn't really matter. So okay, let's create it correctly. Let's try again. Just give it a name. Doesn't really matter. And in Eclipse now you need to put your your jar file into this subfolder. And let's go back to Eclipse, and we now will export our plugin classes into a jar file into that subfolder. To do this, go into your package, right click and they export. Select jar file, click on next, and then you need to select the export destination. So you can just open that, go into plugins, x64, and down now into the folder we just created. You can name the plugin, the jar file as you like. It doesn't really matter. Just leave it as my plugin here. And next, you can leave the settings, finish. Okay, let's have a look. We should now create a my plugin jar here. And what FireCapture does when it starts, it just checks, depending on the version it uses, all the subfolders in the x64 main folder and checks for jar files and loads all plugins into FireCapture. Okay, just to make sure that this is working, let's start FireCapture again. Okay, let's have a look at the pre-processing filters, and now you see we have added our plugin class. There, obviously, there's nothing what happens because we haven't filled any other methods, but it has proven that it loaded the plugin correctly. Okay, so let's go ahead with some more stuff. Let's fill some methods and let's do some things with the plugin. Basically, the plugin allows you to manipulate the image data and to trigger starting and stopping a capture. That's the basic stuff the plugin interface can do. So to show you just to give you an impression, there are two methods which are important for manipulating the image data. There is a compute mono and compute color method. Compute mono will used when you have a monochrome camera, or the raw data of a color camera. And just to give you an impression what's possible, let's start with simple. Let's start with something simple. Let's say I want to white out every X pixel in my image data. So let's try this. Let's start. The image data is in this bytes pixel array. That's the image data, the actual image data from the camera. So what I'm trying to do now is I just want to white out every X pixel. You may have noticed before when I showed you the pre-processing filter, there was in FireCapture there was a slider, and you can use this slider to fill a threshold or whatever you need. And whenever the slider changes in the FireCapture user interface, this method is triggered, slider changed. So that value is an integer, and the range is between 0 and 100. So we are trying to use this the slider value, the range, the value of the slider here to define which pixel we want to write out. So let's say we will store this value here into a field. Let's say we call this position, and we are setting this to the slider value. So obviously it doesn't know about position, so I can just click on that thing here and create a quick fix with creating a field. So now we have created an integer field position, and whenever the slider changes in FireCapture, this slider value will be stored. Remember the range is between 0 and 100. So we are using this position now to write out the related pixel in the frame, in the image data. So what we are doing here is we are iterating over the byte pixels over the frame data, and whenever the position matches the position which is stored from the slider, I write out the pixel by giving it a value of 255, which is the 8-bit max value. So just to check if this is working, let's export the plugin again. So it is all set up, so we just need to click finish. Okay, let's start FireCapture again. Okay, let's see what happens. Now when I change the slider, you see, gives you some funny images here. It writes out every X pixel. So obviously when the slider is at 1, it will write out every pixel. So this is just a stupid operation, but it just gives you an impression how to manipulate the image data. Okay, I will try to show you some more examples. So let's close this again and go back to Eclipse. I have prepared a couple of examples. Let me just load them. Okay, let's check a second example. Again, I have filled some of the methods, and suppose you would like to applying some sort of a brightness factor to your image data. So this could be done in the same way. When the slider changes the value between 0 and 100, we place them into a factor. This is a factor variable here is just a float, and at max value, which is 100, it will put a factor of 10 by the division of 10 here. And then in the compute mono method, we are just applying that factor to every pixel. So you need to take care when trying this, as in Java a byte is signed, so you need to convert it into an integer first. This is done by the AND operator over here. So we are taking the pixel value multiplied by the factor and make sure that it not exceed the 8-bit boundary, which is a max of 255. So yeah, that's all. Let's try this again. I export this class and start FireCapture again. Okay, let's see. This is the second plugin example here I just showed you. So now I have displayed the vector over here. This can be done. I forgot to show this before. This is done with the getStringUsage method. The percent value here is just the slider value, and instead of using the slider value, we are outputting a string with our factor. So this getStringUsage method is executed when this label is displayed. So now we know what our factor is, and this is applied to our image data. So now I have a smooth brightness incrementer, and this is this is how the slider value over here can be used in your plugin. This is just this example. Okay, let's go ahead with the next example. You may have noticed that I'd like to show you again in FireCapture. In some of the filters in FireCapture provide some text fields over here. Example of the live stacking operation here. You can define the number of frames to stack with a slider, and it shows the numbers that will be stacked over in the first text field, and in the lower text field it shows the actual number it has already stacked. So if you're trying to use these text fields as well, let's have a look how this can be accomplished. In the third example, I would like to implement some filter that only captures frames that exceeding a given brightness level. So for this I'd like to use the two text fields I just shown as well. So to do this, you need to fill the related methods that will show the text fields. And first of all, you need to say yes, I want to show the text fields in the preprocessing. So this is done by use value fields methods. If you return true, so the text fields will be shown. There were a couple of methods that will use the label and the text fields. The max value label is the first label that is shown on the first text field. The current value label is the label shown on the second text field, and the related text field methods are the get max value and current value. So what I've done in this example is, whenever a frame arrives, I'm just computing the max pixel value in the frame. And I'm just I'm setting the current max to 0 and iterating over the frame data and set the current max value. And in order to update the text fields in FireCapture, you need another thing, and this is you need to, which is the capture listener, a listener in general. And this is done in the method here. And there is an eFilter listener interface that allows you to start, stop, capture, and some other stuff. And one thing is, a method is called filter done. So whenever you are done on manipulating frame data, and you need to call this method in order to update the user interface in the preprocessing panel. So this can be accomplished by registering a filter listener. So I just have a field eFilter listener. I've named this capture listener, and whenever I'm done with my manipulating the image array, it's computing the image array, I'm informing the capture listener filter done, and this ensures that the values will be updated in the user interface. Okay, though I have set a current max, which is the highest pixel value of the current frame, and with a string with a slider value, I will put a threshold, and the threshold here is just computed by, remember the slider it comes with a range between 0 and 100, and I'm just applying a 2.55 float value, which means the highest threshold now is 255, which is an 8-bit boundary. So that's There is one more method which we haven't mentioned yet. This is called capture. This is executed and every frame has arrived from the camera and the filter, and it defines if you have a recording started, if the current frame will be captured or not. So in our case here, we decide we will capture if our current max value from the image is above the threshold we have set. Okay, let's try this. In FireCapture, again, I export it into my plugin class, my plugin jar. Start FireCapture. Okay, and still live stacking. Let's go on and go to our plugin we just filled. Okay, now I have a slider here, and with a slider I define a threshold, and the current value here shown here is the current max value of the image data. This is similar to the one that is shown in the histogram. That is the highest pixel value which is shown over here in the histogram. So what I now can do is I can set a threshold, and when I start a capture now, it will capture only frames which exceed this threshold. If my current max value doesn't exceed the threshold, no frame will be captured. As soon as I go below it, it will continue with capture. So this could be handy for capturing only some pride objects or whatever you need to. Which just gives you an impression how you could use these threshold and the two text fields here. Okay, let's stop this and go to our last example. And suppose you would like to trigger the start and stop capture actions from another application from outside. So this is what the last example is about. And it's just a plugin that will show how to use how to trigger start stop capture from an external application. And what I've done in this club over here is, and what it does is it creates a socket connection, and it creates a socket connection on a given port. And it creates a socket connection, but first I need to explain how this is triggered. There is another method in our filter interface which is called getButton. So you can optionally add a button into the preprocessing panel, and just if you fill that button, getButton method. So in our case we create a button which is named connect, and when this is clicked we open a new window, which is just a new frame, and it just shows a status label, and then we trigger the start socket. And what it does, it starts a socket connection on port 8088 and gives some output to that port and listens to the input on that port. So when the user inputs some numbers here, it triggers some actions. For instance, when it enters 1, it starts capture. This is done by using again the capture listener, which I have registered again in that register filter listener method, and it just triggers the related action when the user presses the related button. So when first start capture, it triggers the start capture, and there is another command, toggle capture, and this toggles a capture flag, which is just a Boolean attribute. And this is used to define if the frame is captured. So when a capture when a recording is running, it will read the capture flag and define if the frame will be stored or not. And number 3 is stop capture, and you can also trigger an emergency snapshot, which is the ring buffer feature FireCapture provides, but you would need to enable the emergency snapshot feature before you can use it. and 5, the last action is exit. Yeah, that's all. Let's try this in action. Again, we export into the jar file, override it, and we start FireCapture. Okay, let's go to this class. Okay, I click on the connect button. This is a button that is shown we just provided with the get button method. We have said if we don't return null, return the J button. This will be displayed in the preprocessing panel. Okay, let's click on the connect. Okay, now we waiting on socket 8088 for some input commands. Okay, let's try this now. I'm starting a command line, and I'm using the telnet command to connect to this port. Okay, you see now this is a command list. This is what we have filled here in our socket connection. We have output these lines, and this is shown here. Okay, let's try if it works. I press 1 and it starts capture. I press 2, it toggles the capture flag. It doesn't capture anymore. Press 2 again, it continues with capture. This is some stop, pause, continue function. Okay, I press 3 to stop capture. So this is just a demonstration how you could use, how you could trigger FireCapture start stops from an external application. Yeah, hopefully you're able now to create your own plugins. And last thing I would like to ask you for is whenever you have some plugins for personal use available, you may consider sharing it with the FireCapture community. If you go to the FireCapture website, there is a link plugins. There are the currently available plugins. So if you have some interesting stuff you would like to share with other FireCapture users, just give me a note and I will add it to the plugin list over here, so other users could use this as well. Okay, that's all for today. Hopefully you're now able to create some funny plugins, and hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, see you next time. Bye.